Vercel's launch week has come to a close, and at this point you were either upset with pricing, impressed by visual editing, or super stoked that App Router is finally in general release. But I think there's a bigger picture that's being missed, and that is that Vercel is now positioning themselves as the front-end cloud, a place to go to get everything you need for your application without ever having to leave Vercel's dashboard. So first, they launched storage using either KV, Postgres, or even blobs. Those are now available through Vercel. Some people were pretty upset with the pricing model that they were using, and by the time you consider all the other factors that if you were to roll it on your own, the computing cost and everything else, it probably works out pretty close at scale. But the point here is now you have databases at Vercel. So far, we have deployments, we have a great framework, we have easy integration paths for pretty much anything, and now we have databases right in Vercel. But now you have a marketing site, and that marketing site needs some editing. But you don't want to have a bunch of users going through, let's say Sanity CMS, logging in, making the change, not seeing what it looks like, hitting save, waiting for that app to build, and then showing it on screen. So they introduced something called visual editing, which if you've been around on the channel for a while, you know that I worked at Tina CMS, who've been doing this for a number of years. So bringing this mainstream allows users to be able to edit their content on the fly and make it as easy as possible. Then firewalls have always been a thing that you need during things such as DDoS mitigation, IP blocking, and all things like that when you're on an enterprise grade, and usually use something like Cloudflare to kind of mitigate some of these problems. But they introduced Vercel's firewall, and then they introduced Vercel Secure Compute, allowing you to have a private connection from your serverless functions right down to your VPCs or private infrastructure, allowing you to then again remove another service that you may have been using in the past and keeping it all in Vercel. But this isn't something new. Vercel has been slowly positioning themselves into this front-end cloud provider. If you look at last year at Vercel's Next conference, they talked about things like analytics, another thing that you go outside of Vercel to use. So you either use Google Analytics, Plausible, or whatever your private provider is. So Vercel saw that as an opportunity to keep another service in-house and produced Vercel Analytics, which then went to general release in April. Then they introduced Vercel cron jobs, similar idea. You always went outside of the service to use a cron, whether you used an integration partner or you just had a way to fire off cron jobs via some sort of other means. Vercel saw that as an opportunity to corner that piece of the market and snap it up. And Vercel monitoring, that's another thing they introduced recently, which I think was in March, which was a way to visualize, diagnose, and optimize all of your sites. All of these things are things that you've done outside of Vercel, and slowly but surely they're bringing these in. But sure, some of those bills may be higher than others, but having everything in a single centralized place that you can easily have all sorts of developers interact with without having the need for DevOps is what Vercel is trying to do. The front-end cloud is here to stay, and I think it's in a fantastic positioning for anybody in that market. And the final couple of things that I think are super interesting is obviously the partner with Next. That was released on Friday as part of community partnerships, and of course, Clerk was also included in those Vercel partnerships as we move towards providing auth for everyone. So what are your thoughts on the front-end cloud? Is it a marketing scheme or is it actually good positioning for a company like Vercel? If you did enjoy this video and you made it all the way to the end, here's another one. Enjoy it. And of course, if you're not subscribed, click right here.